I used to chase every customer because I wanted to sell. But after years in business, I found out there are good customers and bad customers, and I only wanted to work with the good customers. You might think, well, I need to find a customer or find more customers. But first you need to decide what your perfect customer looks like. What is their income? Their budget needs they need to match the service you provide. If you're trying to sell high-end products, you need to be targeting people with high household incomes. What type of neighborhoods do you want to work in? Trailer parks or $1 million homes or anything in between? You get to choose. Also ask yourself these questions. Do these people respect your time? Are they punctual? Do they communicate clearly? Do they pay on time? Do they only focus on price? Do they provide referrals for you? Do they appreciate the quality you give over the price? Do they value your expertise? Do they trust your judgment? What is the age of your perfect customer? These are just some things you need to think about. It's hard to find a customer if you don't know what you're looking for. Before I knew this, I chased every customer. And, I discovered that's not the way I wanted to do business. So discover what type of customer you want. Maybe just start within your own network of friends, family, neighbors. And, they're easy to sell to since you know them. And then, start passing out your business cards. Especially if you don't know who your perfect customer is, start kind of paying attention. But in the meantime, start passing out business cards, start working for them. Notice patterns. See how customers act. And you'll see, well, I like how they did this, but I didn't like how they did this. And then start shifting toward the type of customers that you want to work for. And then once you start recognizing what your perfect customer looks like, that's when you start spending money on marketing, flyers, door hangers, Google ads, and you could create partnerships with related businesses that's not in exact competition with you. When I mowed lawns, I teamed up with a fertilizer company. They would send me mowing customers. I would send them fertilizer customers. When I did a wood rot repair, I had a roofer that would send me wood rot repairs. I'd send him roofing jobs. So, but this is what's important. Don't think about paying for advertising until you figured out who your perfect customer is. That and what niche you want to offer. Otherwise, you're going to spend money and really not get a good return on investment. So after you find a customer, you're entering into a partnership. And if you don't know them, this could be scary. And then this really amplifies the larger project that you do with them. With a new customer, you don't know what type of crazy they are. You don't know if they'll pay on time. And you don't know if they'll pay that last straw. And there's people out there like that. Recently, I was subbing under a general contractor. He'd only been in business for a few years. And he had a customer who kept asking for more and more. And it was a house that I worked on. And these people were never happy. And, they had a lot of crazy in them. And, while I was there and other contractors were trying to make this guy happy, or guy and girl happy, and just wasn't happening. And then so the main contractor, he's trying to appease them, just trying to get it done. And, some draws came up and they weren't happy, so they didn't pay. And so he didn't really push it. He just kind of kept moving, trying to get the project done and trying to make things right. And then when he got toward the end, I heard him mention that he's like, these guys owe me $100,000. Think about that, $100,000. This customer hadn't paid the last couple draws and still wasn't happy. And he just turned in another draw. And we're near the end of this project. And, they hadn't paid the last few draws. And he's really kind of losing his bargaining power, to get his money. And he was only been in business a few years. So a $100,000 deficit, that could bankrupt you. I mean, I don't know, that might even bankrupt a solid company. So I was there the day the customer finally decided to cut the check. And, that contractor was very relieved because I was pretty nervous for him. I didn't think he was going to get it. So this reveals the importance of finding quality customers. And once you find a great customer, you need to retain them. And retaining them just means, your service was great. They enjoyed working with you. You enjoyed working with them. So they call you back. And a relationship is being built. Trust is growing. So you have to first find the perfect customer. And then once you find them, you must take care of them and continue to build that relationship so trust grows even more. And then third, you want to upsell that customer so they continue to buy from you since they like you. And it's actually an easy sell. A customer's lifetime value is significant. A small transaction today can, evolve to recurring sales, but only if you treat your customer right. And if you treat them right, they'll continue to call you back. And then they'll tell your friends about what a great job you did. And there's so many companies in this industry that are they're here for today's sale. They're not thinking about tomorrow. And I don't get that. Excellent service encourages repeat business and can lead to a higher value purchases. Satisfied customers, they're more likely to refer to their friends and family, which, helps your reach and potential sales. And what's cool about when they pass your name on to a friend, you get that phone call. Yeah, so-and-so gave me your number. I need this done. It's usually very, very high percentage that you're going to get that job. Just really the only thing it comes down to is if their budget can meet what you can do for them. And usually if that can happen, you got the job. Think of Starbucks. They understand the value of retaining and upselling customers by focusing on customer satisfaction and retention. They can turn a $5 coffee sale today into a customer lifetime value that's over $14,000. So today it's just a $5 coffee. Next week it's a $5 coffee and let's say a turkey provolone and pesto on a ciabatta bun. A few days later they bring some friends in to catch up. Now it's $20 in coffees. This continues week after week, month after month because of their great service, which, keeps customers coming back. This example highlights how small, consistent sales can accumulate into significant long-term value. Exceeding customer expectation is the easiest way to boost retention. Delivering, great products and services keeps customers coming back. And then upselling them by introducing them to other offers, this creates multiple revenue streams, and it really maximizes each customer's lifetime value. And this, this works well for a small company because it keeps the larger companies out that offer multiple services. And this is how I crossed over in this industry and got in so many different, I guess you say, categories. I started as an exterior carpenter, and I had opportunity to get into the lawn care business. And I began to focus more on the lawn care side and started growing it. And, I started chasing the commercial side of it. And then later I started offering more services, because once I was in the commercial side, I had to do more. So I started offering fertilizer, landscaping, snow removal. And I ended up crossing back over to the remodeling side and offered my services to my lawn customers to fill my winter time. And it was an easy upsell because they already liked me. They knew I was consistent. They trusted me. And it just worked well. So here's a plan for you. Find your perfect customer, offer them great service, look for ways to upsell them. Remember, satisfied customers are more likely to return, and they'll buy other services and they'll recommend their friends. And then this amplifies your reach. So the difference between a struggling business and a thriving one is it just comes down to the one who chases relationships that pay dividends years to come. So decide who your perfect customer is, build that relationship, exceed their expectations, then upsell them to grow your business in revenue, reputation, referrals, and long-term sustainability. So that's how you win in this industry. Thanks for watching.